Hello model railroad fans. In today's video we're going to take a look at a number of the Tyco items that I have picked up over the past couple or 3 weeks or so. It's quite a good bit of it, so it'll probably take a little bit to go through it all, but as you can see there's quite a few items. I've got loose stuff, I've got box stuff, I've got bag stuff, I've even got complete sets. So let me get set up on the tripod and we will go over each of these items and then get this video wrapped up. Alright, 1 second. Alright, I'm set up on the tripod, but before we start getting stuck in on looking at everything here, I thought I'd give a couple of shout outs. First to a friend of mine named Mike, who is a fellow member of my local train club, the Central Ohio Model Railroad Club. And second to another friend of mine named Brian. The two of those helped me in procuring a few of these items, just adding to the addiction. So certainly want to give a shout out and tell them thank you very much for that. All right, so and also too, before we get started, a couple of these items you'll have already seen, and I will try and post links in the upper corner and maybe even at the end of the video. If you haven't seen those, you can check those out. All right, so let's get started with the loose items and then just kind of work our way through to some of the stuff that you'll see in boxes. Alright, so first is going to be a loose train set that you've already seen, and like I said, I will post a link to that video, and it's the Arm & Hammer promotional train set. This is the box car to it, and then just we'll go over real quick the items that came with that. We've got our Shark Nose Rock Island Locomotive, Burlington Northern Boxcar, Union Pacific 40-foot hopper, and then we've got our Rock Island caboose. An item that I picked up off of eBay, which is part of a promotional train set, if I'm not mistaken, is this Coca-Cola 50-foot boxcar. And if I can confirm that that is part of a train set, which I think that it is, I will see if I have the rest of the items together, and I'll show that in a future video. And here are a few items that a friend of mine named Brian sent me. Hooked me up with this really nice Virginian locomotive. And this has been given a little extra special treatment. He rebuilt this motor for me from the ground up. Took it apart, cleaned everything, put new magnets in it, new springs, and put in some new brushes. They are copper and carbon composite, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much for that, Brian. And with that came the matching caboose, and also a few cars. One of them is loose, the other in boxes. I've got this New Haven car that he provided to me through another friend of mine named Anthony, so give him a quick shout out. So I love the Taiko community because everybody really tries to help each other find whatever collectible item it is they're looking for. Alright, and these other three cars are in the box, but Brian helped me out with these as well. We've got this Baraxo covered hopper. We've got another 50-foot Burlington boxcar. And then we've got a Hershey's reefer. So let's set these over to the side. This is an eBay find. 40-foot billboard 40-foot billboard hopper. Revere brass, copper, and aluminum. And these next few items are something I picked up at my local hobby shop. He got in a number of vintage items from an estate sale. So we've got this Spirit of 76 Alco C630. Is that the 630? Nope. I goofed. That's the 430. And then we got this auto loader with the cars. At first I thought it had never been used, but whoever opened this was pretty good about how they cut the plastic so that he could put the cars in there and it looks almost new. And then we got a Spirit of 76 caboose to go with that 430, or it could go with this Spirit of 76 C630. So this one has the metal handrails, and I've already got a couple of these, or well, one of each of those, but I picked these up because the little seal that's on the side was in pristine condition. Let me pull that out here. This little presidential seal that you'll see right here, it's really bad about flaking off. And I've got one or two of these, and I know I've got one of the other one. But in the cases of all of them, there's just little flaky points where some of that seal has come off. So really glad to get those in such pristine condition. They're going to stay in that box. I may run them one time for a future video, but then they're going to stay in that box until I can figure out a way to make sure that doesn't flake off. Then just picked up in my local hobby shop this 40-foot hopper car. And this is another eBay find here, but there has already been a video made of this. This is a Great Northern steam locomotive. It's a 080, and I will post a link to that video. And then this is just a box of true steel track for an upcoming project. So that covers the loose stuff and the box stuff. But if you'll remember from the video outset, I've got stuff still in bags and even complete sets. So let me walk around and get this one bag here. This is what Mike hooked me up with, and I just dropped it. Now, when he gave me this bag, he says, I've got some Tyco stuff to add to your collection, so he brought it to the train club and gave it to me. But he said, in his exact words, make sure you wash or sanitize your hands after you touch these cars, because they were in a box and had been stored away for a long time and were incredibly dirty. So I'm going to just kind of open it up and make it to where you can kind of peek in there, and I'll give you kind of a walkthrough on some of the stuff that's in here. Most of this is Tyco, but there's some Mantua stuff. And as you can probably tell, it's really filthy, really dirty, and they just need a good clean. But I handled a few of them at the train club, and there were spider webs and all kind of things. So yeah, they're in dire need of some attention. So we have a few of the Taiko state cars. We have the Jello Hopper. We got the El Capitan boxcar, and some reefers in there, and there's a couple of locomotives. One of them I think is beyond hope, but one of those, and it's a Santa Fe, I believe it can be salvaged. It'll just need a little bit of work, but all of these will be seen in a future video. Maybe a while before I get to it, but cleaning all this up and getting it on the track again, and doing any kind of repairs that may be needed, such as replacing a couple of wheels, things of that nature. Then let's get on to the train sets. So we've got this. Now I did a video some time back on this. I've already got this train set, but I got this one really cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks. But it is complete, and I'll just kind of tilt it forward. It's a Chattanooga Choo diesel train set. Now I do believe it is missing one thing, but we've got our locomotive and we've got all the cars, but they did not, and it's got the power pack and it even has track, but they were not very careful with how they packed it, because you can see that the motor got knocked loose and out, and even one of the side frames has broken off. But all of that can be repaired and fixed. So sometime in the future I'll do a video on getting this train set roadworthy. So anyway, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. It does have a few flaws on it, like I don't know if you can really see it, but the stirrup on that side is missing, but that's not necessarily going to be the end of the world. So, yeah, so there's that train set. So let's scoot this out of the way. At this point, I'm just sticking things in different places. Running out of space. All right, so now this one is the really special piece, and this will definitely be in a future video, hopefully in the next few weeks. But it's a Chef Boyardee promotional train set. It's got the glow-in-the-dark feature, kind of like what they had with the Silver Streak and some of the other items from probably the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. A big fascination back then with glow-in-the-dark stuff. But this, according to the seller, had never been opened when he got it. He opened it up to check it out, which I kind of wished he hadn't, but what can you do? But just a quick cursory look at it, everything seems to be unopened and unused. So I'm looking forward to giving this a closer look a little bit later. So let's scoot this off to the side here. And let's move. I know I got my arm all in the camera. Alright, so let me reposition. And let me raise this up just a little bit. Alright, so these are some later train sets by Tyco. These were sold kind of at the end of their run. These are going to be probably early 90s. So we've got this overnight freight. And we can see here it has the locomotive, 2 cars, and a caboose, bridge and trestle set, and true steel track, and the power pack. And here is the set. It did not come with this car. I just put it in there because I couldn't stand having that open space there. And the locomotive is right here. But one of the things that I had noticed was that it was an F7 unit and not a shark nose like you see on the packaging. So in doing some research, I've discovered that that was just the way it was, that Tyco had gotten kind of lazy with their packaging. And even though it has a picture of a shark nose, you got an F7. That is my understanding. If I'm wrong on that, someone please correct me in the comments. And then finally, we got this Santa Fe 72, giant 72-piece train set. And it comes with an Alco 630, a Burlington boxcar, a Texaco tank car, a Union Pacific gondola, and a Santa Fe caboose. And as near as I can tell, it's complete with all its parts. But I'll go ahead and open the box here. And you can see the track, the power supply, the bridge and trestle pieces, and even over here you've got your signs and whatnot. So, and then these two sets are very different. Like this is a C630, I'm sorry, C430, but it is completely different than, say, this one. This is a true Tyco locomotive, has the power torque drive. Whereas this one was made in Yugoslavia, and it's basically an IHC or Mahano locomotive. So it'll have a mid-mounted motor with a shaft going to each truck. So it does have the advantage in that it's 8-wheel drive, so it does run pretty good. Alright, well that is a look at my giant Tyco haul. Quite a few items, and they were kind of all over the place, so I said let me shoot a haul video and then I can start kind of putting some of this stuff away until they are needed. Tyco is something I collect. I run it here at the house sometimes, but I like to try to keep it safe and put up because it's just part of my collection. Alright, well, if you have any of these pieces, make sure and let me know down in the comment. I'd kind of like to hear your thoughts on some of these things, especially the train sets. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button, subscribe. hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when I have future content. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Happy model railroading, guys. Take care.